All right, gentlemen, we are here on citations that were issued on February 24 of this year on 19th Street there, Watson Township. This is for too fast for conditions as well as failure to yield to emergency vehicle. These are civil infractions, Mr. Webb. You have a choice of what to do on them. You can, one, admit responsibility to a citation, or two, admit responsibility, but you'd like to provide some sort of explanation as to how or why this happened. Or three, you wish to contest the citation, in other words, to fight a ticket at what we call informal hearing. What were you looking to do?
I would like to contest this ticket.
Both
Both of
moving
them, yes.
violations? All right. Then, even though I cannot see you, I'd ask you to raise your right hand, same way the deputy's going to raise his right hand. You swear or affirm any testimony that you'd give here today would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Webb, it makes a lot more sense for me to start with the deputy. He has the burden to establish to me why you were issued these citations in the first place. But then after that, you'll have an opportunity to either ask questions or testify in your own behalf. All right.
Okay.
And with that, deputy, you want to pick up the narrative somewhere it makes sense? Explain the issuing of this citation.
Conducting routine patrol in Watson Township. I was traveling westbound on 116th Avenue. I observed the defendant's vehicle driving directly ahead of me. While driving behind that vehicle, I paced it at 58 miles per hour for approximately 3 miles. Upon activation of my emergency lights, the vehicle continued driving for approximately a quarter mile before turning left onto 19th Street and coming to a stop. At that point, I made contact with the defendant, explained the reason of the stop, and issued the citation.
All right, Mr. Webb, what is it you wish to tell me?
I guess I'll just tell my story. I was on my way back from school because I forgot that it was spring break. When I got onto 222, I saw Mr. Kibbe sitting in like the little construction area across from the gas station. That's when I decided to flip him off. Um, this obviously made Mr. Kibbe upset, prompting him to pull out behind me and begin following me for a few miles until I reached a downslope. I had my cruise control set at 57. So as soon as I hit that bottom of that downslope, my car accelerated a little bit, supposedly 1 mile an hour. And this is when Mr. Kibbe turned on his lights, and it was very obvious that he was targeting me. So I instantly, right away, started slowing down and decided that turning off to the left was going to be my best case scenario because it was going to put Officer Kibbe out of the main road, which I know is one of the leading causes of death for officers.
And, deputy, what is the speed limit on this road?
55 miles per hour.
All right. So the too fast for conditions is the 58,
Correct.
and the failure to yield to emergency vehicle is the driving for a quarter mile before he pulled over.
Correct. Your Honor, my understanding of the failing to yield for an emergency vehicle moving is that they have to pull immediately to the parallel to the road they're currently on. And in the event that I was heading to an emergency, he would have been impeding me by turning left across both lanes where I couldn't pass him.
Okay. Gentlemen, Mr. Webb, you know how dumb it is to needlessly upset law enforcement, right?
Yes, I know that.
Because they have certain powers that they can exercise over your life and make your life difficult. It was a dumb thing to do.
Yes, and I have
All right.
stopped since then.
All right. Here's the problem. Violation of basic speed law, too fast for conditions, is essentially, that's the wrong citation. You could have wrote him a citation for 1 to 5 over, and that's what he'd be looking at. But the violation of basic speed law is essentially when you have a slide off or something like that, you were going too fast for conditions. And that having the accident is the prima facie evidence that you should have been driving slower to sort of avoid that happening, as opposed to just essentially a speeding ticket, meaning nothing happened with your vehicle, but a moving violation that you were in fact going faster than posted speed limit. So this could have been a faster than posted speed limit ticket, but the way it's written, a violation of basic speed law, we reserve that for a failure to maintain to your vehicle to stop a clear and assured distance before you hit something else or before you leave the roadway. The other problem is the failure to yield to emergency vehicle is this. Once an officer is trying to pull you over and it's obvious to you or reasonable to an objective person that the officer is trying to pull them over, i.e. lights and sirens, and there's nobody else but you, then you know that they're trying to pull you over. The issue with that is you do have the right to. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you just speed up and drive away, this turns very quickly into what's called fleeing and eluding, which is a felony crime, right? But if the officer's trying to pull you over, you are able to drive to a place that you feel is more conducive to a safe stop. A lot of times what that means, gentlemen, I'm just explaining to you this so you understand this. A lot of time what that means is, oh, it was late at night, it's a country road in the middle of nowhere, and I know there's a gas station, a quarter mile up the road. So I, put my blinkers on, or I drove 35 miles an hour, but I drove all the way to the gas station because I'd rather have this interaction take place in the lighted parking lot, or something like what Mr. Webb is explaining, that 222 is a lot busier than, say, pulling off to a lesser used road. So provided the fact that you only went a quarter mile is the sort of saving grace here, and that you did pull over. But the way that you explained it, there is what I would say a grace period there for pulling over, as long as what you're doing is pulling over to what you consider to be a safer, either for you or for the officer. The way you articulated it, really, you articulated it for the officer, but it's allowed to be for your safety. But that is not necessarily what this statute, failure to yield to emergency vehicle, is written for. That would be essentially, more often what that is not listening to the officer, not a delay in listening to the officer. The delay of listening to officer is a little more subjective, i.e. I get to listen to it, but it's my interpretation here, or my understanding, that you drove at the speeds you were normally driving to go a quarter mile down the road, turn left, and then pull over, sort of right away once you got off the busier road. I wouldn't find either of these two actions to be violations of the statutes that you were written for. But like I said, gentlemen, it's pretty clear here, Mr. Webb, what you did. You used really bad judgment that normally is going to end up costing you money, right? And costing you points on your driver's license, because it's just a dumb thing to do. Don't do it again.
Okay.
All right. But I would not find you responsible on these citations as they're written. We're all set with this today, gentlemen. So.
All right, thank
Let's
you.
go our separate ways and think twice about how we carry ourselves in the world. All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That is awesome. That makes me feel like I'm having a better day. That is great. So Kelly, Kelly, I don't know why when you look at me you feel that way. My wife says that all the time. So I am that made my day for it to be muted. I've had a good day with technology, and that was perfect for it to fix me up there. All right, we're gonna go to some Judge Fleischer. Then we got another People in Court episode, and we've got some more Judge Norbeck. But don't flip off a cop. Let's go over to Judge Fleischer.
This is Mr. Ladon. No, Mr. Franklin.
I'm sorry, sir.
After all that we've gone through,
This case,
gone through
Talk about you.
trying the this, the that,
like,
Don't
and
stop.
now
Hey.
you've picked up an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Don't talk about the case, Mr.
She's the
Franklin.
prosecutor.
The only thing is,
Yes.
I cannot express my disappointment. I really thought that you and I were like reaching together.
we were, and we really are. My family's working against me. They trying to take my SSI check and stuff. I haven't done anything. This is my 35th year. I haven't done nothing.
So look, I don't even know what happened. I want to know. So he picked up an ag assault with them. What happened? Please. Please, just don't say anything, please. I just want to know what happened or why they're saying what happened. Okay.
On March 17th, 2025, at approximately 5:48 p.m., officers were dispatched with an aggravated assault call at a residence in Harris County, Texas. Upon arrival, the officers met with the complainant, who stated they are a resident in a group home. The complainant stated that the defendant is a person they have known for 3 weeks. The complainant stated the defendant arrived at the group home around 5:38 p.m. and knocked on the front door multiple times, cussing at another resident due to them not opening up the front door fast enough. The complainant stated the defendant continued yelling, cursing, and talking down to the resident. So the complainant tried to talk the defendant down. The defendant stated to the complainant that he was going to fuck him up, then went to his bedroom. The defendant took a hold of a fork which the complainant believed was a knife and pointed it at the complainant. The complainant asked if he was going to get stabbed, and the defendant charged at the complainant. The complainant stated they feared for serious bodily injury or death. The complainant ran and locked themselves in their motor vehicle and called the police. While waiting for the police in the vehicle, the defendant was still threatening to kill the complainant and was kicking the vehicle.
Wow. I just came from Food Town and I went back home to eat. I was at the door, I knocked.
Stop. Just the problem is that there's some people in this life, Shaisa is always happening to them for some reason. Always. This, that, this. It's always happening. It's always happening. Don't matter where you go. I'm always stepping in, you know?
I'm not a violent person.
Your history says
No, I'm not a violent person. I'm an SSI patient. I've been dealing with this stuff all my life. Soon as they get my name
the only
to
thing.
use my social,
The only thing I'm gonna say is that, you know, it's time to do some deep reflection. You know, it really is time. Because the thing is that I don't want you to end up with a 40-year sentence, man, because of the no self-control. I really thought we had something.
you do.
I'm just so disappointed, man.
I don't know. Well, I'm the one that's been did wrong. Just, I'm paying them all.
So look, I gotta revoke your bond, man.
I don't
So,
know why.
Cause you picked up a felony.
I'm doing everything I can do. It's people out there doing hate cases, hate crimes, all towards people like me. All I'm trying to do is just get my home back. They took it from me. Everything, because stuff is happening against me. I'm not assaulting people. I never assault people.
you know, the problem is that while this case is open, we can't do anything in here anyways. You know, what I'd like to do is, you know, have you evaluated to see how we go forward, because I just don't know.
A lot of this stuff
Can't
was
do it.
already was false. This all of this stuff is false. So it's me.
We're gonna have to wait for it to play out. I hope, I hope, Mr. Franklin, but I don't know. Well, I gotta wait to see the evidence and see what
Why y'all
happens.
can't just send me to a psych ward unit or something while all of this is going on?
First, I have to have you evaluated, but I can't do that until the felonies are
This is
worked
not making
out.
no sense. This is my 35th year. And I have to keep dealing with this stuff.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna revoke it. I'll set it at 5,001. All right, Mr. Franklin, I just don't want you to have any weapons, and just don't pick up any new cases, man.
Thank you, Judge.
Thanks. Q, are you ready? Let's do it.
It's gonna be on page 22 and 23.
Did we not do a TRAS on Miss Morgan? This is Morgan, right? I thought we did a TRAS.
All right, so Debbie, I see the comment. Debbie says, "Make you feel bad for making fun of him. Depression isn't funny." And Gina had made a comment about. Hold on, Gina. I'm trying to see where I was ignoring your comment. Let me see. You said need some chill pills. Absolutely, but what sometimes these folks also need to have is accountability. I get being mentally limited. I get having all those issues. You still got to be able to figure out how to trying to figure out how to stay within those walls, where you want to live. I have a friend I met on here, so it's an internet friend, and she's living with mental issues. She's special needs, and she's having to figure out how to live on her own and how to survive. But she's figuring it out. She's understanding that she's got to live within those walls. And this guy here, he wants to act out in the group home. Everybody else in the group home's got issues too, and he can't act out and terrify them. So, all right. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Linda in Boston. It's always good to see you coming over here. Hey, Critter's here. Thank you, Critter. You must have just showed up. I hadn't noticed you yet. So, absolutely, Jelly Bean. We all got to be accountable. Look, I'm fortunate to where I certainly don't think I have what that guy has, but we've all got our mental struggles. We've all got our stuff. So, yep. And Discord is hell. Until you figure it out. Once you figure it out, it's easy. But for the first day or so, I had to have my daughter tell me how to hang up the phone. It had been on for I think 3 hours on a voice call, and she's like, "You see that big red phone? You just press that button." And so that showed me how silly I was. Debbie, not breaking the law? Absolutely. It's awfully hard when you're having a mental health attack to not break a law. They build the laws pretty easy. So, all right, we're going to jump back into this one here.
We did.
This is the lot, we're not gonna continue. This is your third trespass within a year. The next time, if you pick up another case, get ready. If you need any resources, we have resources here for you. If you need a place to sleep, if you need food to eat, you need somewhere to go, money, whatever. All you have to do is come back here and we will give you whatever you need. But living on the street takes its toll and we're not going to continue to do this. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Next time, we will really get to the bottom of it. Do you understand, Ms. Moore?
Yes, sir.
You're charged now again with criminal trespass and interference with duties of a public servant. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine on each of those cases. You're giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, it will go on your record. It'll stay there forever. This is it. I'm not going to continue to play this revolving door. Do you understand? How do you plead to both of these offenses? Guilty or not guilty? I'm going to find you guilty and I'll sentence you to 30 days in jail and I'll give you credit for the 17. The next time you pick up a criminal case, come back. You've never once come back. Come back if you pick up another one. Do you understand? Good luck, Ms. Moore.
Thank you.
I was trying to remember, is that the one who got kicked out of the Houston Housing Authority that said human trafficking and she kind of blamed everything? I kind of feel like she was the same one that they did that with. I just can't remember. Y'all let me know if y'all remember. I'm bad with names and faces. I know it was female, and I know she was mad as hell. But this lady seemed a lot more tame, so I don't know. Maybe so. All right, it's a good spot here. We're going to jump over to the people in court. She had a weekend magistrate one that was a really good one. It's Washtenaw County, so it's the same as Judge Simpson, but I've never seen this judge, so we got to figure it out. So here we go. This is people in court. So I'm going to go ahead and make the disclaimer. Yes, I stole it from people in court. It's horrible. It's terrible. Go see the link in the description. Go see her channel. Like and subscribe and all that other stuff.
8663, the people of the state of Michigan versus Lawrence Edward Buckner. Your name for the record?
Deputy Kochansky.
Thank you. Deputy, could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will give today and the information contained in your complaint will be true to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
I do.
Thank you. You're welcome to proceed whenever you're ready, sir.
On March 21st, 2025, at approximately 6:25 p.m., Deputy Campajorni and I were working road patrol when we were dispatched to the area of Fox Ave and Seneca Street for a bit of a felony assault. The call was updated that a purple Jeep had rammed the caller's cousin's white Cadillac and somebody had pulled a gun. Upon arrival, Deputy Campajorni observed a white Cadillac and parked in front of 720 Fox Ave facing south. Deputy Campajorni then got out and was flagged down by a citizen at 729 Fox Ave, who was advising that it was there that got information. Deputy
She gets on to him about
conducted
breaking
a
up, so
down on Billy, which
I'm
was
sorry. I have to
the owner
stop
of the
you.
white Cadillac.
Deputy, I'm sorry. I have to stop you. You broke up. And so I think I missed what the
Okay.
actual report was. So the neighbor said,
Okay. Yes. So upon arrival, Deputy Campajorni observed a white Cadillac parked in front of 720 Fox Ave facing south. Deputy Campajorni then got out of his car and was flagged down by a citizen at 729 Fox Ave, who was advising that their car got hit.
okay.
Billy Sutton was identified as the person that got their car hit. And based off the dispatch information, Deputy Campigiorni conducted a Terry pat-down on Billy and did not discover any weapons. Deputy Campigiorni then asked what had happened, and he stated that his Cadillac was parked up the street a bit, and Billy advised that Lawrence, who he knew him by name, began yelling at Billy to move his vehicle. Billy then advised that he was standing across the street when he observed Lawrence drive his Jeep from a few houses away and rammed the rear end of his Cadillac. Billy stated Lawrence then backed up and parked his Jeep by his house and got out. Billy began yelling at Lawrence till yelling at Lawrence and or Eric Buckner walked up to his house to let their dogs out. Once Eric and Lawrence let the dogs out, Billy could hear them yelling, get them going towards the dogs. After that, he then walked inside and put his firearm away. Billy does have a valid CPL and stood by until police arrived. Moving on to the interview with Lawrence Buckner, Deputy Campigiorni then asked him what had happened, and he refused to talk to him. Only said that he was punched in the face and was protecting his family. Deputy Campigiorni then checked Lawrence in law enforcement systems and observed Lawrence had a conditional bond, stated that Lawrence was not supposed to violate any criminal law. The threats that were made by Eric Buckner. After Deputy Campigiorni placed Lawrence under arrest, Eric became very irate and started to yell at deputies and other citizens in the area. Deputy Campigiorni attempted to de-escalate the situation, but Eric could not be reasoned with, and Eric then advised his family to get in the car, and he was letting the dogs out. At that time, Eric opened the fence gate and walked towards the front of the residence, which is at 680 Fox Ave, and the front gate was not secure all the way. Deputy Campigiorni had numerous contacts with Lawrence and Eric and knew that they had multiple large guard dogs inside the house. At the time, there was only 2 in the front yard. Deputy Campigiorni then advised Eric that if he let the dogs out, he would have to shoot them and did not want to do so. As Eric was walking towards the house, Deputy Campigiorni secured the front gate, and Eric walked through the gate and closed it behind him. Deputy Campigiorni advised again that he would have to shoot the dogs if he let them out, and that he did not want to do that. Eric then stated that if Deputy Campigiorni did that, he was going to teach him a lesson. When he said this, Eric balled up his right hand, making a fist, and took a wide stance, blading his body to the right, placing his right side away from Deputy Campigiorni. Through his training experience, he observed this as a fighting stance, prepping for a powerful right hand strike. Another female on scene, which was a family member to Eric, got in between Eric and Deputy Campigiorni and was able to calm Eric enough for him not to let the dogs out. Based on Deputy Campigiorni's internet search, he observed that the damage was over $1,000. And on to excited utterance within the report. While at the Washtenaw County Jail, Eric began crying to the jail staff and advised that he was in jail because his car rammed the other car, referring to Billy's vehicle. He then stated that the other male, Billy, punched him, shot at him when Billy went back to the car for more guns. Lawrence tried to stop him by ramming his car. For bond, Lawrence is currently under 4 conditional release bonds for the following: aggravated stalking, malicious use of telecommunications, assault and battery, and carrying concealed weapons. The charges requested for Lawrence is felonious assault, malicious destruction of property over $1,000, and conditional bond violation ×4.
Thank you.
And then Eric is a threat towards law enforcement.
I don't have Eric's paperwork. I don't know what the status of that is. I'm guessing they're probably waiting on body cam on that. I just have Lawrence.
Okay.
And the complaint is just for malicious destruction of personal property, $1,000 or more, but less than $20,000. The conditional bond violation would be taken care of by the judge. So just that one charge was authorized regarding Lawrence and just to Lawrence. So based upon the testimony presented to the court and my reading of the complaint, the court does find probable cause to issue a warrant regarding Lawrence Edward Buckner on the single charge malicious destruction of personal property, $1,000 or more, but less than $20,000. I have signed the warrant. All right, and then we're waiting for the signature.
John is the type of person that would notice it and it'll get taken care of tomorrow.
Mr. Buckner, I'll be with you in just a second.
Jesus David, our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, that we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power, the glory, forever, ever. Amen. Most gracious Heavenly Father, today I am being brought before the court for defending my life. Father Yahweh, I don't understand what is going on, how I was shot at and assaulted, and I ended up in jail. I don't understand how.
Mr. Buckner, Mr. Buckner, I really don't mean to interrupt, but you're being recorded. We're on the record.
This needs to be on the record, and you know.
Mr. Buckner, this is Magistrate Garden, just reminding you, you can continue with your prayer, but anything that you say can and will be used against you. We'll be with you in just a minute.
And thank you, ma'am. Father Yahweh, I have said everything, and you said that the truth will set you free. Father Yahweh, in front of the whole Washtenaw County, everybody who's watching on YouTube right now, I have been incarcerated for getting shot at and assaulted. Washtenaw Sheriff's Department did not take no statements from nobody. They locked me up. I am locked up for malicious destruction of property after being shot at. A convicted felon was allowed to shoot at me in broad daylight. I want everybody to know that because I said I didn't want to be a snitch, I said I didn't want my name on no paperwork, all my family and friends made statements, and none of my family's and friends' statements were accounted for. I am in jail after being shot at and assaulted. Okay. There is no justice for the black man in Washtenaw County. There were ring cameras that were offered to the police. There were multiple victim statements, multiple eyewitness statements, and I'm the one in jail. But I was the one that was shot at and assaulted. So this goes to show everybody, you better give your life to God, because when you're not living for God, there's no rules in the devil's playground. So I want everybody to witness today that Lawrence Edward Buckner Jr., who has been a stand-up guy for all his life, who never wanted to snitch, never wanted to be on no paperwork, you know, this is what it gets you right here, okay? And I pray to the God of my understanding, I don't care who talks about me through Washtenaw County, the truth is I am a victim. I was shot at, I was assaulted, and I'm in jail. And there is no way to tell me that there's anything to justify putting me in jail. Every officer that was on my case was a bold case. The neighbor across the street showed a ring camera, which proves that I did not do nothing wrong. That wasn't taken into account of place. And then I want everybody in Washtenaw County to know that my 17-year-old nephew was taken to jail because he told the police the truth. He told the police that I was shot at, and why didn't the other guy go to jail, and he was taken to jail with me. So,
Mr. Buckner, I don't mean to interrupt, but you hadn't said amen yet. You hadn't said amen in a while. I think you're just making a statement. You're not making a prayer anymore.
Praying to God.
Okay, so I'd like to
proceed. I have no understanding of how.
So let me, Mr. Buckner.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me do my job and try to help you. Okay.
I apologize, Miss Tamara. Is that how I pronounce your name, Miss Tamara Garwood?
It's Tamara, and like not today, Tamara, but you can call me Your Honor, call me Magistrate. Okay, just let me do my job and we'll get you taken care of, okay?
First and foremost, I apologize, but the one thing I told Miss Apple before I came in here, I said, Miss Apple, I said, I was already out. I just got released on tether for some issues with my girlfriend, right? And I get a charge on bond The officer told me I was free to go and then said, oh, we're charging you for violating your bond. I'm charged for violating my bond for getting shot at. And I know that at the end of the day, you have a job to do, everybody have a job to do. But
Mr. Buckner, we can't get any of this done unless you let the magistrate speak. We have to take this one step at a
I'm
time.
sorry for being so excited. I'm sorry for being a lot of anxiety. I just don't know what to do. I am lost, and that is the truth. I am lost, and I apologize.
Mr. Buckner, I get it, but let me do what I need to do
Yes,
and
ma'am.
get this
I'm sorry.
moving.
I apologize. Sorry.
It's okay. And hopefully we can get you some answers and figure out what's going on here, okay?
Yes,
You're here
ma'am.
today. You're here today on WCSD 25-18663. Tell me your full name for the record.
My name is Lawrence Edward Buckner Jr. I was born March 20th, 1980.
I'm going to give you just a little hint as you're going through your court cases. I know you have other cases, but just a hint to you. When a judge or a magistrate asks you a question, we try to ask you really specific questions because remember, anything you say can be used against you. So when I'm asking you questions, I'm going to ask specific questions and I'm just looking for specific answers. So no need to add, okay? I know you have a lot you want to say, but I'm not deciding whether you're guilty or innocent today. I'm just arraigning you, okay? So before we get too far into your case, just a little bit of housekeeping. Courthouse is closed to the public. The public has the right to hear and see what's happening here in the courtroom. So all of our cases are broadcast live on our YouTube channel. When we're done here today, it's going to come off of the court's YouTube channel. May end up on somebody else's, but it'll come off of our YouTube channel. Next, we're doing this by Zoom. If something happens that you can't hear or see me, let me know right away. Otherwise, I assume our connection's working just fine. Next, the camera in this courtroom's in a weird spot, so it looks like I'm not looking at you. I am actually looking at you on a monitor so that I can actually see you. And last but not least, one of my biggest pet peeves in the whole wide world is when people interrupt me. So I try to be respectful and not interrupt other people, but I start to lose my cool when people interrupt me. So just be forewarned about that because I think you and I are going to have a little bit of an issue as we communicate here. So just please be mindful of that. With that, I'm going to advise you of your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, the court will refer you to the local appointing authority for them to make investigation as to representation. Ms. Apple will assist you today. The public defender's office will be in touch with you after today's court hearing. I've signed the paperwork so they can assist you. Because you've been charged with a felony, you do have the right to a probable cause conference within 14 days of today. You have the right to a preliminary examination within 21 days, and you have the right to a trial. Mr. Buckner, do you understand your rights that I have just explained to you?
No,
You don't understand.
because I don't want to be here. I'm innocent.
That's a separate issue. Do you understand you have the right to have a lawyer represent you?
I do understand I have a right to have a lawyer.
And that's at no cost to you. You understand that? Okay. And do you understand that you have the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Thank you. And do you understand that you have the right to have a preliminary examination within 21 days? That's a mini trial where the prosecutor has to demonstrate to the court that it's likely that the crime was committed and that you committed the crime. And you also have the right to have a probable cause conference within 14 days. Do you understand that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he said yes.
Yes.
And do you understand you have the right to have a trial? And a trial by jury, if that's what you wish to do, or a trial by a judge?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. All right, then we are going to proceed with appearances by counsel. We'll start with the people.
Andrew Childers appearing on behalf of the people.
Assistant Public Defender Hannah Apple appearing on behalf of Mr. Buckner. Your Honor, I did have a chance to review the complaint with Mr. Buckner. We would waive a formal reading of the complaint. My client would stand mute at this time, and I'd ask to address bond when appropriate.
Thank you. Mr. Buckner, I'm not going to go through the details of the complaint with you because you had a chance to review that information with Ms. Apple. You'll have more time to review what happened with the Public Defender's Office as your case proceeds. We'll have you stand mute. I'll enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. I'm going to schedule you for your next court date. The next court date that you can be seen is a probable cause conference, April 3rd at 9 a.m. with Judge Simpson at the 14A1 District Court. That's live and in person, not by Zoom. We will send you a notice to appear. Again, as I said, you're going to receive additional information from the Public Defender's Office. The next thing we need to address in this case is bond. And there are two parts to bond. Bond conditions, those are things the court tells you you can and cannot do. If you violate a bond condition, you're subject to immediate arrest. The other side of bond is whether you can be released today on your own, or whether you'd have to post a bond in order to be released. Before I make any decisions regarding bond or bond conditions, I'm going to hear from the people and then I will hear from your counsel. And I just want you to know, we did hear testimony this morning regarding what allegedly took place on the day in question. I also have a copy of your pending cases. You have a couple pending cases right now. And I also have a copy of your criminal history. All of that's going to go into my evaluation. I'm going to hear from the people first, and then I'll hear from Ms. Apple on your behalf.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I thank you for at least being open-minded enough, because I was scared when I told Miss Apple.
Hold on, Mr. Buckner.
I'm gonna hear from counsel, and if there's something that Ms. Apple missed, which I highly doubt, then if you need to supplement it, we'll see about whether she wants you to supplement it. But she's a really great attorney, so let her do what she needs to do to help you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Childers.
Your Honor, the people are requesting a $20,000 surety bond, no 10% in this case. As the court is aware, the defendant was on bond for a stalking and domestic violence case, as well as a felon in possession and CCW case from, I believe it was, that incident date was close to Christmas, maybe the 24th of December. Those were both charged a few weeks ago by my office. My review of the defendant's criminal history is pretty remarkable. It appears to go back about 30 years. He did 10 years in prison, federal prison for weapons charges. It appears that when he was released, he committed some offenses in the state of Indiana. And then obviously we have the new conduct over the last few months here in Washtenaw County. The facts of this case are, it's not, the charge offense here is simply a malicious destruction of personal property, ramming a vehicle into damaging another vehicle. The people's biggest concern is that this behavior happened while the defendant was on bond for what I consider to be much more serious cases. And because of that, we believe that he certainly has a complete inability to follow orders of the court or conform himself to the norms of society. He represents a danger to the community and to others. And I would ask that he remain in custody while these cases are pending. I suspect without question that Judge Simpson will issue no bond bench warrants based on this behavior probably tomorrow on the cases pending before him.
I just want to confirm, Mr. Childers, if you can tell. So I think I have 4 pending cases. I have an aggravated stalking with a DV. I have a weapons charge. I have a malicious destruction of personal property with Judge Washington. And I have a malicious use of telecommunications services with Judge Washington. And from these, it looks like he's actually posted a bond.
My understanding is he posted a bond on the case. So I actually didn't look at, I was focusing on the felonies.
Yeah.
And so.
All right. So I just picked up on that. She's talking about he posted a bond for all these other ones. He's riding around in a wheelchair. He's hitting people with a car. He's just got out of prison. So there's no way in hell he bought a car. So I think he's got a mad as hell mom waiting on him to get out. Think about losing all that bond money, getting your car all busted up and stuff. So that's never any good. That's never any good.
On the ag stalking DV file and the weapons case, my understanding, and actually APA Zenda from our office is handling those, and she was Teams messaging me this morning that he had posted a bond on both of those files.
And it's sizable.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
It was. And so that's normally a $20,000 bond on an MDOP. It's kind of high.
Put your hands down. Put your hands down. Put your hands down.
And so, yeah, my concern is that we have this conduct while on bond, posted bond on serious matters.
Okay. Just so you know, Mr. Buckner,
Yes,
one of the,
yes,
just
ma'am.
listen to what I'm saying to you. One of the allegations here, the sort of general concept here, what the prosecutor's arguing is you have an inability to control yourself, to control your actions. I appreciate the jail is a really complicated place to be, and there's a lot of emotion going on, but I'm watching you and he's just making arguments. I haven't made any rulings yet. You gotta sit still. You gotta control your body here while this is happening.
ma'am.
Otherwise, Mr. Buckner, you're just supporting what
What
Mr.
he's saying,
Childers is
what he's
saying,
saying.
right?
And
Hold on, Mr. Buckner.
Okay, I'm not asking for comment. I'm telling you, I appreciate the jail is not a great place to be and you want to get out. I get that. But if you can't sit still and act appropriately with me when you should be on your best behavior, even
Yes,
with what
ma'am.
Mr. Childers is saying, you're just supporting his argument. You're making it really hard for yourself and Ms. Apple. So sit tight, let me hear from Ms. Apple, and then I'm going to decide what to do, okay? Ms. Apple.
Thank you. Your Honor, I will inform the court that, for housekeeping, as Mr. Childers did discuss, he does have a bond violation hearing that it appears he's set to be arraigned on tomorrow before Judge Simpson. So bond is denied on that case. However, Mr. Buckner would like the court to know, and as he has somewhat been trying to express to the court, that and I explained to Mr. Buckner, this will come out as the case proceeds, and if he has a self-defense claim of some kind, then we absolutely will assert that defense. But his concern is that these allegations came about after he was shot at by an individual in the community, and there appears to be several witnesses that saw this and different video footage. So he is frustrated at his circumstances, and that his life was put in danger, and he did what he thought was best and has subsequently been charged with a felony because of that. But again, I discussed with Mr. Buckner in our breakout room and meeting him, the process that we will have to go through and having those conversations and reviewing discovery. But based on that, I would ask the court to consider some type of a nominal bond on this case, so that he is receiving credit while he is potentially held on the other matter before Judge Simpson that he's going to be arraigned on tomorrow.
Thank you.
Who's arraigning him tomorrow? I think it was Simpson.
The process that we will have to go through and having those conversations and reviewing discovery. But based on that, I would ask the court to consider some type of a nominal bond on this case, so that he is receiving credit while he is potentially held on the other matter before Judge Simpson that he's going to be arraigned on tomorrow.
All right, so he should be in front of Judge Simpson tomorrow. So this was from today, so tomorrow, let's see how he behaves in front of Judge Simpson.
Thank you. My guess is Judge Simpson's going to be the bigger problem in this case than me. And he's probably going to take no matter what I do, his action's probably going to be more aggressive than my action here. Mr. Sutton lives approximately across the street. Is that right, Mr. Childers?
So the address in my file for Mr. Sutton was in Detroit, but I believe that it might be like a girlfriend or something that lives in the vicinity of Mr. Buckner, and that's
No,
why
that's
he
his
doesn't have
cousin.
that address.
That's his family member's house.
There you go.
Do you have an address for that, where that Jeep was parked?
Where my Jeep was parked, my Jeep was
Hold on,
parked.
Mr. Buckner.
Well, no, I'm sorry, where the Cadillac was parked. Do you have that address, Mr. Childers?
One moment, Your Honor.
I think it was 720.
Oh, just let Mr. Childers find it, okay? I appreciate you trying to be helpful.
Yeah, 720.
720.
720 Fox.
Thank you.
Ms. Apple. Thank y'all for your help, man. May God bless all y'all. Thank you.
We're not done yet, Mr. Buckner.
I'm figuring out your conditions. I just have to type them into the computer, so just hang tight.
It's okay. God, you know the truth. And whatever reason you want me to see.
All right, Mr. Buckner, are you ready or do you need to finish your prayer?
Father God, please just help me. Please give Judge Tamara Good the spiritual side to see what happened. Please don't let the devil block her vision. Allow her to see with the spirit.
That was a rhetorical question. All right. I'm going to go through your bond conditions and then I will tell you your bond. Your bond conditions are not in any particular order, just the order on the form I'm going to read from. It's important that you understand those bond conditions so you can comply with those bond conditions. They're as follows: you're not to use, purchase, or possess any alcohol, illegal drugs, or marijuana. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a medical marijuana card?
Yes, I do. So I'm able to allow to use marijuana because I actually have been a medical marijuana participant for years.
Okay, it was just.
But I don't drink.
What?
I don't
Yeah.
drink.
Mr. Buckner, just a yes or a no question.
I think he just said he's been a medical marijuana participant for years. I believe it. Believe it.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got shot in my head, so please, just some months ago, I'm suffering from a gunshot from the head. So just please keep that in mind. That's why my emotional, I got shot in my head. I got shot 9 times on Father's Day. And everybody, like when I keep saying this all these current stuff stems from me not cooperating or me getting shot. And nobody believes me. Nobody wants to hear my voice. And it's okay. I died twice in my little brother's arms on June 18th, 2024. I was shot 9 times and 1 time in the head, allegedly by Ronell Johnson. And I told the police I didn't want to have nothing to do with the case. They keep coming to my house telling me, hey, you need to participate in this case. And then the last time Deputy Caruso came to my house, and that's why I'm glad this is on record, he said, Mr. Buckner, who did this to you? The very next day, I was charged with domestic violence, stalking, and all these other charges. This is what the prosecutor, Mr. C. Andrews, I want to say to you, I understand that I have had an extensive record throughout my life. However, if you look at the time frame from the things that I got in Indiana, you know why I went to Indiana. I went to Indiana because of my wife and I got a divorce, okay? That was a very messy divorce.
Mr. Buckner, I am sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm going to stop you. You have this pending DV case. You're involved in other cases. You're making all of these statements. Ms. Apple is probably, I can't imagine what her feet are doing under her desk right now. You're creating a record. Honestly, you're creating a record that is not helpful so that she can do her job and so that all the other attorneys in her office can do their job to help you. So don't be your own worst enemy. Again, there's no question on the table right now. And you just keep talking. You're not helping yourself. You're again demonstrating to me that you can't control yourself for whatever reason, whether it's because you got shot or because you just have impulse control issues. So stop talking. Let me do what I need to do. The original question was, do you have a medical marijuana card? You answered it, yes. That's done. We're moving on to the next topic. Do you understand that? Yes, that's a yes or a no. Yes, you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You're not allowed to leave the state of Michigan without prior permission of the court. You're not to commit any crimes while your case is pending. You must appear for any and all court hearings and other places as directed by the court. Do not commit any crimes. You are not to assault, terrorize, frighten, intimidate, threaten, harass, molest, or stalk anyone. You're not to purchase or possess any firearms, ammunition, dangerous weapons, or any gun components, nor are you to be with anyone who has any of those items. You are going to have random drug and alcohol testing with our community corrections department. If you're already doing that testing, it won't be duplicative, but you will have to appear for an intake with them. That'll be what we refer to as standard supervision, and you'll have to present them with your medical marijuana card. Do you understand that so far?
Yes, Ms. Gatewood.
Garwood.
I'm so sorry. Ms. Garwood, I apologize.
I think he's called her
Judge
everything but her
Garwood, I
name.
apologize.
No worries. You are to have no contact with Billy Sutton. In addition,
Billy Sutton, AKA Dollar Bill.
stop. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Billy Sutton. That's
You are to have
his
no,
real name.
stop talking. You are to have no contact with Billy Sutton. When I say no contact, no direct or indirect contact with that individual in person or through others. Don't attempt to have contact with him. No telephone, email, texting, internet, or social media. Don't send anything to him. Don't deliver anything to him. Don't direct anyone else to be in touch with him on your behalf. I also don't want you going to 720 Fox Ave. You have to drive the other way on the street. I don't want you having any contact with anyone who resides at that house. I don't want you having any contact with anyone who's visiting that house. I don't want you going to Billy Sutton's home, work, any school, any place of worship that he may attend, or any temporary residence. Do you understand? That requires an answer, a yes or a no.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All of your conditions, they are going to exist whether you're in custody or out of custody. They remain in full force and effect until changed by the court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. As far as bond is concerned, it is clear to me that a lot more took place, and the testimony we heard from the sheriff's deputy had a lot of other people involved and had a lot of other activity that was going on. I would anticipate, based upon what I heard from that deputy, that other charges are coming for other people, not just from you or for you, for that particular event. But what I have in front of me gives me cause to have concern for the safety of the community. It gives me cause to have concern whether you have an ability to control yourself and whether you have the ability to follow court orders. Based upon those, well, you haven't, and you have a bond violation hearing tomorrow with Judge Simpson because of that. So based upon that information.
Jesus Christ, Ms. Garwood, in the name of Jesus.
I'm talking.
Mr. Buckner.
I'm still talking. Remember, I don't interrupt you. You don't interrupt me. That was the deal we made at the beginning. I'm setting a cash bond, $20,000, cash or surety, no 10% privilege. I believe that that is appropriate. Somebody could have been really hurt, so.
Right, like me getting shot in the head. And let me tell you something, Judge, since you already set the bond, in the name of Jesus
Mr.
Christ.
Buckner, please.
In the name of Jesus
I encourage
Christ.
you not to speak about any kind
The
of,
bond-
let me
Hey,
tell
Ms.
you
Apple, do you see what
something.
just happened to me, Ms. Apple? How, like, she just said that a police officer just came in here, gave her testimony. She said that she worried about me being a threat to society when I got shot at. How am
Mr.
I?
Buckner, the bond has been set.
Apparently you
Bond
did
has
not
been
hear
set.
the statement I made right before that. The bond has been set. Counsel, Ms. Apple, anything further in this matter?
No, thank you.
Hey, Ms. Apple,
Mr.
man.
Childers,
What
anything?
actually
I'm gonna have to
happened?
mute you.
She gave me a 20.
I'm gonna have to mute you. You've been muted. We can't hear you. Mr. Childers, anything further in this matter?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thank you. You are muted. I'm not going to hear from you if you're yelling at me. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer a question, but I'm not going to have you yell at me. I'm not going to have you threaten me. I'll unmute you if you have a question. You're still muted. Do you,
Yeah.
I'll unmute you if it's a question, but I'm not gonna have you
Your Honor,
yell at
I
me.
would,
He has
on
my
behalf of
problem. He
my
don't know how to
client,
hit
I
the
would
mute.
probably
Okay,
ask that we
Ms.
just conclude this
Apple,
hearing.
is fine
We'll
with
talk
us
with-
leaving you muted. That'll complete this hearing. We'll let the jail know that he's done.
We'll talk with him tomorrow too, so.
Okay,
if
sir,
he has
you're all
anything-
set. We're not gonna have more comments from you.
Hey, does that look like what I
Thank
was
you.
doing earlier
You're welcome.
earlier in the
Can
show?
you let the jail staff know to move him? Oh, he's gonna move himself.
I think he just gave the court the finger.
And I'm a pretty good lip reader.
Yeah,
And I'm
that
pretty
looked like an
sure the
expletive.
last comment started with an F and a Y. We can let the record reflect that.
Sure.
ATX has got a good, Ali's got a good one there. Mr. Allen's probably greasing up his handcuffs all right now, getting ready for this guy tomorrow. And so, again, everybody, this was People in Court. Go watch her stuff. She found a good one today on this one. She found a good one. Go watch her stuff. She's great. She's great. Wonderful. Dang it. Kathy said stupid mute button. Also, I was like, oh no, I'm still on mute. But nope, not me. So here we go. We're going to go back to the rest of the Fleischer one. Get through that one.
Can I get it one more time? 25555. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. James.
I know. I was supposed to be here yesterday, but I didn't have my court papers. I thought I was supposed to be on the 25th. And I called the court.
Okay, I will reinstate your bond today.
Now I called the court, and she told me to be here this morning. So I had to catch 2 buses. I catch 1 bus.
There's no need for you to say anything. Just don't miss court again.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you're charged with assault, bodily injury. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay.
I'm sorry, but there's a call from my computer.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
We have to do probable cause.
Oh, yeah.
Just, you have the right to remain silent. I don't want you to say anything because I don't want you to hurt your case anymore, okay?
On March 13th, 2025, at approximately 3:11 a.m., officers were dispatched to a gas station in Houston, Harris County, Texas, in reference to an assault. Upon arrival, officers met with the complainant, who stated the defendant assaulted him with his arms. The complainant stated he was at the gas station when an unrelated suspect started beating on him. As he was getting beat up, the defendant jumped onto the complainant and started beating on him as well. The defendant struck the complainant with a closed fist and strangled the complainant from behind with his forearms in a chokehold for 5 minutes. The complainant passed out. The complainant stated he felt pain. The complainant pointed out the defendant, who was across the street, and the officers attempted to detain the defendant, and the defendant resisted. The complainant positively identified the defendant. The complainant and the defendant are acquaintances through the complainant's girlfriend. The complainant had a bruise on his neck and a bump not on his cheek. I have spoken to the complainant. So from what the complainant has told me is, it is
Sir.
consistent.
Move.
It's consistent with the rip, but then also this other suspect apparently had fired at their vehicle while the defendant was being detained, and there's an ongoing aggravated assault along with this as well for the other suspect.
Know who that is?
Yes, I've gotten his name. I need to reach out to the officer to see what the status is on that, but we do have the name of the other suspect.
James, I'm going to find that there's sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. If I find that you put hands on anyone in this life from now on, I'm going to revoke your bond and I'm going to make it so high you'll have teeth falling out. Do you understand?
Okay.
You are not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using alcohol or illegal drugs, I will revoke your bond and put you in jail. If I find that you're a danger to my community, likewise. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You are not to have any contact with this person. You're not to go within 1,000 feet of this, was it a gas station?
Yes, it was a gas station, Your Honor.
This gas station, and I'm going to put an ankle monitor where I know where you are at all times. You just had 2 aggravated assaults and a burglary of a
Yeah.
building
And I didn't,
months ago. So
John,
Mr.
I had
James.
nothing to do with this.
I want you to understand something. I will protect my community at all cost. Do you understand?
I understand that, sir, but I
I don't.
touched nobody. I broke the fight up between
Here's
this
what
guy.
we'll do. Here's what we will do. I will give you a lawyer today. We will wait for this evidence to come in. There's always 2 sides to a
Yes,
story.
the officer said they need the film from the gas station.
I
That
want you-
exonerates me,
I want you to listen.
sir.
There are always 2 sides to a story. And the evidence will point to whose side is correct. We are giving you the benefit of the doubt, and this is why
Thank you.
you are out in the free world as it is now. But if I find that you become a danger to my community, if I find that you pick up a new case, if I find that you break any of these conditions that I set forth, you know what's going to happen. Do you understand?
Sure.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that. It doesn't matter to me. All what matters to me is going forward, what happens. And I want my community safe.
Understand.
Judge, can we also get a residential restriction for him not to be able to go near the complainant's residence as well? Because from what it sounds like to me, they all know where each
No.
other lives.
No, I don't.
So,
When I say I don't want you to have contact with the complaining witness in this case,
Can I just say one thing? Your
hold
Honor?
on. It is a Mr. Hernandez. When I'm telling you, I don't want you to have contact with this person, it's phone calls, text messages, social media, where this person lives, where this person works, where this person hangs out. If I find that you are anywhere near this person, then I will revoke your bond. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And here's the rub, is that if I make your bond $5,000 to $10,000 or $15,000 and you don't have anyone to make that bond, you will be stuck like Chuck until this case is over with. All I'm asking you to do now is keep my community safe and don't go near this person.
I don't communicate with this person. I ain't touching nobody, Your Honor. I was breaking this guy.
Stop. I will give you a lawyer today. You can tell your side to the lawyer, and then you guys can come up to an agreement. I don't need to be involved at this time.
But the officer told me they could.
Look, stop. I don't want to hear it. You have the right to remain silent. Exercise that right. You are not to be in possession of any weapons, no alcohol, illegal drugs, random testing, a GPS monitor, and no going within 1,000 feet of where the person lives or doesn't work.
I don't even communicate with the guy.
Do you mind appointing Miss? Okay, I'm now going to give you a lawyer. You will be able to speak to the lawyer, and then you guys can come up to an agreement. You must remain in contact with the lawyer. If the lawyer tells me he cannot get a hold of you because you're ducking and dodging phone calls, I will issue a warrant. Do you understand?
But Your Honor,
You can talk to him. He'll be here shortly, and then you can tell him what happened. All right? Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
We're good.
Okay, thank
you
you.
know,
Yeah. Come on, let's get this.
I had nothing to do.
I know.
That's like all.
Sir, hold on.
That's what he got his lawyer.
Have we T-rest him yet?
No, sir. It looks like he was on probation
Back in this, oh wait, it got revoked. Back in 2023 and that's your answer.
Very, very upset. I thought we had things going. I thought we had things going right. You know, you've been doing well. And now you've got this bond violation where you're doing whatever the hell you want to do again. Don't work like that. And I don't know what I need to do to get your attention that at this stage in your life, it's not about what you want to do. It's about complying with bond conditions. We have literally bent over backwards to try to help you with things, and you continue to just shoot yourself in the foot. Your lawyer, Miss Hawkins, wants to plead you guilty now because you have a warrant. I'm done with this revolving door of you picking up a case and getting out. Picking up a case, getting out. You now, Mr. Waters, have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Cap, man. That's cap. I'm gonna fight for my life, man. That's cap, man. I've been by my baby mama's side, man. Been taking care of everything I gotta take care of, man. That's cap, man.
Mr. Waters, look at me.
That's cap, man.
Mr. Waters, you don't get rewarded for doing things that you should do anyways.
You know what I gotta do?
Meaning what you're doing is great and it keeps you out of jail. But do you want me to pat you on the back for doing what you should be doing anyways?
I ain't asking. Man, I ain't asking. I'm just asking you, like, just give me a little more time. I've been doing these jobs. I've been going through the whole package. I've been going to these hospitals with my girl, going to go check up on our little one that's coming, and I want to be there.
If you are old enough to have a baby, then these are the things that you should do anyways. You don't get rewarded for being a good father. The reward is that you have a kid that grows up like a little flower that blossoms, right? Because there are so many people that have babies that treat their kids like shisa, and they end up like rotten ass kids that like a flower are just crooked. And just when you're a father, the duty of a father is to stand by the side of their kid, stand by the side of the wife to make their lives as comfortable, as great, educational, and supportive as possible. That is the duty of a father, right? If you can't, then don't have kids. Then be a man to use a prophylactic or think, maybe I'm not in the best position right now to have a baby. You think before you act. This is the sign of being an adult, of being mature, and growing up, Mr. Waters. But me, with you now, I'm not going to just continue with this revolving door. You've been doing well because you've not picked up any cases, which is great, right?
And I have not been doing nothing. I have not been kicking her. I have been at that store.
So tell me about the curfew then. What's up with that?
Okay, with the curfew, I can understand. Me and my girl, we got into it, and I ended up walking out, trying to go get some fresh air. Was not thinking. I can admit to that, and I'm sorry. The hormone going crazy with us, and we trying to, fight and get right with this. But
I need to know about this.
I'm trying to. I can't talk. Y'all be telling me I can't talk, and I be having.
I've given you a lawyer to talk to.
And I told her everything. So she can come and tell you and let you know. Keep stuff updated. Sir, I've been out the way. I ain't been on no lollygagging stuff. I'm really maturing. I'm ready to be a dad. I'm ready for this. Well, I'm doing a little something on the side. I ain't doing no drugs, no none of that.
I'm, you know what I'm saying, volunteering with my girl dad now.
Why can't
He
you,
finna,
why are you, can you not get a 9 to 5 job?
with my 9 to 5, I gotta have my ID and stuff, and I'm working with Search, my housing people. They got me my apartment. They finna give me my social security card and my ID card, and that's all I need so I can go ahead and get on.
Second, were we working on this?
Yeah, so first he was with Search to just get housing. At first they didn't have housing, so he has an apartment and everything now. I'm not sure like the step by step how everything progresses, but he does still work with them. I've actually spoken with his officer, your case manager. He also had a social worker assigned with MAC. They were informed that he is working with Search, so they just kind of check in here and there, but they won't like also work with him because he's also working with Search, but they'll just make sure things are okay. So he is still working with Search and has a case manager with them. And has housing now. I wasn't aware of the ID issues or anything.
Not being telling, send
This is
me applications.
What we're going to do now is we're going to work on this in extremely slow baby steps. I want you now to go get your ID. I want you to get your ID. And I'm going to give you a week for you to go get it. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If you are not back here in a week with your ID, it's not going to go well. After we get your ID, then you and I are going to work together to get you a job. A 9 to 5 job where you're working every single day. Because if you are about to have a baby, that baby needs food, that baby needs clothes, and the only way you get that is by working. And I'm not talking about these side jobs here, there. No, an actual J-O-B. Do you understand? I'm going to reinstate your bond right now with the expectation that you're going to get your ID. If you don't, it's really not going to go well.
Thank you, Judge.
You ready?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Talk to me.
Well, this is more of a client service matter than anything else. I would like to reapproach, Your Honor, on Mr. James. Mr. James has some questions about the probable cause, and if it's possible, I'd like to have probable cause read while I'm here with him so that I can communicate to him adequately everything that's going on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Come up, Mr. James. He's saying there's no probable cause.
Your Honor. I think at this point, I'd like to just say that he's not fully understanding or appreciating the magnitude of what's going on so that we can communicate effectively. I'd just like us to have the transparency.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You are charged with assault causing bodily injury. You are facing a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. She's going to read what happened in this case. Please.
On March 13th, 2025, at approximately 3:11, officers were dispatched to a gas station in Houston, Harris County, Texas, in reference to an assault. Upon arrival, officers met with the complainant, who stated the defendant assaulted him with his arm. The complainant stated that he was at the gas station when an unrelated suspect started beating on him. As he was getting beat up, the defendant jumped onto the complainant and started beating on him as well. The defendant struck the complainant with a closed fist, then strangled the complainant from behind with his
Okay, hold on. Did you hear what that said? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I know that's not true.
Okay.
That's what they're saying happened.
That's why we have evidence. Evidence points to whose side is correct. I know that you're saying it didn't happen.
Said that.
But
Somebody said that. That's the probable cause.
We have film.
I got that's right. We're gonna work on it. Just listen.
With his forearms in a chokehold for 5 minutes. The complainant passed out. The complainant stated he felt pain. The complainant pointed out the defendant who was across the street when officers arrived. The officers attempted to detain the defendant and the defendant resisted. The complainant positively identified the defendant. The complainant and defendant are acquaintances through the complainant's girlfriend. The complainant had a bruise on his neck and a bump knot on his cheek.
And Your Honor, of course, he doesn't have a bump on his cheek or his neck, and they got the wrong thing. They got the wrong guy. And we're gonna prove that. So, but right now, Your Honor, do you find probable cause? Judge found probable cause based on that. Now, we're gonna fight this, okay?
Okay.
Okay, now listen, now we got one more thing to take care of. Your Honor, I understand that as part of his bond conditions, the court is requesting he has an ankle monitor. Your Honor, we understand that the purpose of bond and the conditions are to ensure his return to court. I have talked to him and we'd like to make his next appearance required, Your Honor.
Okay.
We would ask that he not have to have that ankle monitor, Your Honor.
And the state would be opposed, just due to the complainant's safety and the threats to their life that happened, that was relayed to us during this incident. I don't know how him and the other suspect are involved. The state would be opposed to not having him be involved.
And if I may, Your Honor, my client was not the initial aggressor. The facts are uncontroverted that my client, it was introduced to a scene of combat. Whether or not he was trying to break it up and help and it was a misinterpretation, or he actually hit this person who was ultimately unconscious and their recollection could be questioned. Those are all factual questions, Your Honor. He's contesting that he was a good Samaritan, Your Honor, and we'd like to prove that. But there were other facts that took place that were not my client. We would ask that even though they have concerns, he is not posing a risk that he would not return to court, Your Honor. And that would be the reason for the ankle monitor.
My fear, and after looking at his criminal history, he has extensive criminal history dating back to 1987.
Yes, Your Honor.
In fact, he has, and he just did 300 days on a burglar of a building not just a couple months ago, where 2 aggravated assaults with a deadly weapon were dismissed.
Yes, sir.
So my fear is I don't want him using alcohol, illegal drugs, and I don't want him anywhere near the complaining witnesses. And I want to ensure that this doesn't happen. So that's why I put this on. If after some time passes where there are no issues, I'm always happy to revisit. But for the time being, I want to ensure that our community is protected and that the complaining witness is also protected. I mean, we have here an allegation where he was choked for 5 alleged minutes until he passed out.
No, that never happened.
The evidence will point to whose side is correct. I'm assuming, and I would hope that if this is the fact, that officers would take pictures, there should be ligature marks, there should be all kinds of, so we'll see. I don't know. But the only thing.
Right, they don't have it right now. Yep. Yes, sir.
That's why
You need to listen, Mr. James, you also need to understand that you need to be patient.
Listen,
Rome wasn't built in a day. It takes time to get evidence. They don't get it immediately. It may take 6 months to get a 911 call. I don't know. But it takes time. So please be patient and don't take it out on your lawyer. He's trying to do the best he can. All I'm asking you to do is don't use alcohol, illegal drugs, and stay away from this person. Don't pick up any new cases.
Say yes, I say yes.
listen,
Can you stay away from the person?
I don't be around.
And I don't want you to go near I don't want you to go where the gas station was. I don't want you to go to their house. I don't, nothing of this nature.
Can you do that?
Yes.
Tell the judge you can do that.
I can do that.
There you go.
I don't
That's it. That's
communicate.
it. That's it. You can do that.
That's all I'm asking.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. James, good luck, man.
Yes, sir, I'm yelling, troop about this.
All right.
Howdy.
All right.
I'm breaking them.
You need to sign. This is it, right? This is it. You check. Right here.
You have to sign for your recess, please?
No, I'm totally fine. Like, love it, love it, love it. Can I ask why? I'm totally not angry. I'm not angry.
This is the worst.